All right, man. Feels like we're rolling. We got a lot of steam going. Got Premier League games. I'm just so excited about the league season. You guys ready for these games this weekend? Right?
Yeah.
It's international break, James.
No.
Again.
Not again.
Again.
Not again.
Oh.
Again.
Oh man.
This is Red Card Radio.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're tuning in. Thanks for listening. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight, Brad and Sean. Brad, he supports Chelsea, and Sean, the bearer of bad news, supports Tottenham. And like he said, we are in the midst of an international break. Man, these things suck. These are the worst.
Hey, the best news of the day, in all of this bad news, the best news of the day we got was that Weston McKennie is going to start against Jamaica in the World Cup qualifier.
He's finally out of jail.
Was he in jail?
I mean,
out of
the bench jail of Juventus Turin.
No, he got
the bench jail of Turin.
No, you remember the last international break? He went.
Oh,
he broke COVID protocols.
That's right. Yes, I did forget that.
Got
our
sent,
bachelorette party.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Got
sent back to Turin.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, so you know what?
That's the best news, is that we actually have one of our young stars playing against Jamaica. That's the best news of the international break, because the bad news is we don't get any EPL games.
It feels like there's been so many. And I guess we have to gear up for the World Cup, which is supposed to take place in 13 months.
It's about a year.
Yeah.
In the middle of the dang season, that's going to be crazy.
Normally it would be in 8 months, but since we're playing it in December, that'll be fun for Red Card Radio next year. This is a teaser for the World Cup episodes of Red Card Radio. You guys are definitely going to want to tune in for those in a year.
You're going to want to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and give us 5 stars.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't, you might have to spend the night in the desert in the winter time, which is also kind of still the summer. So it's still going to be hot, which is kind of confusing because we're having the World Cup in the wintertime. For what reason? Because it's still around the equator and it's still the desert and it's still going to be hot. So I don't know what reason we're having it in the summer. But anyways, you might have to spend the night in the desert in the wintertime.
That would be inconvenient.
That would be very inconvenient.
I think that's more than mildly inconvenient. That's super inconvenient. I thought you were going a different route with that. I thought you were going to make some sort of comment on the slave labor practices of Qatar.
Oh, no. That is definitely way more than slightly inconvenient.
Yeah, exactly. This podcast has now been banned in Qatar, by the way.
Yes,
feels bad.
we just did.
We need you guys to rate, comment, and subscribe so that we don't fall apart, because that was a huge listener base.
I think it was, though. I think we had a listener from there.
The Qataris were holding us down, and now we've just been banned. We're still live in China, though, so hey.
Yeah.
But
wait, we said Ozil, though, so I don't know if we're in China either.
Well, thanks, Brad.
Sorry, I did it again.
What we've got on offer for everyone this evening, or this morning, or this afternoon, we're going to catch your comments from last week. We are going to cover the EPL results from match week 7. And then a couple news stories coming in the Premier League. We've had a manager that has been sacked. We've got a takeover bid that's back in the news. And there was an interesting discussion on football Twitter, on English football Twitter, that we're gonna weigh in on, that I think Sean is going to be particularly keen on giving us his opinion for. But as always,
I think you'd be surprised.
Well, now I'm very curious, because I wasn't.
Well, then if you're curious, then the listener should definitely hang on for that conversation.
That's a teaser right there.
But first, we got to get to the comments, right, James?
First, exactly. So, as always, we had Jimmy and Will on YouTube. Jimmy
Wait a second.
What's
Wait
up?
a second.
Okay.
We missed a part here.
What did we miss?
We missed a part here.
You want to talk about?
Where is my table?
We'll talk about the table after we talk about comments, bro.
That's not what the sheet in front of me says. But I'll allow it. That's fine.
As the man who's driving.
For the listeners at home, we all have a Google Doc that we keep together so we can see what the rundown is. It definitely has table in front of comments.
Hey Brad, where do you see the table now, homie?
He just moved it.
It looks blue.
Poof.
It looks blue to me.
Deleted. We'll talk.
All right, so we're talking about comments first.
All right. So Jimmy had some thoughts about this Manchester City Liverpool game that we are going to talk about in just a few minutes if Brad ever lets us get there. Jimmy, in relation to our conversation about penalty takers last week, Jimmy is apparently taking James Milner, 675-year-old James Milner, to take his penalties. Just gut reaction, Brad. Is that good or bad?
That's the worst thing he's ever said.
Hold on now. Now, is he saying out of City or is he saying out of? Well, Jimmy's a resident Liverpool fan.
Playing Liverpool.
I'm sorry. Out of Liverpool, he's taking out of the Liverpool squad. He is taking Milner.
That's what the man said.
That comment is as bad as 99% of the things I have said on this podcast that he finds ridiculous.
What did we?
That is Brad level. Jimmy has now.
We hit
the Brad level.
We red carded him a couple weeks ago for something he said.
We did,
but it can't possibly be nearly as bad as what this was.
I think he gets 2 red cards for this one.
Yeah, my mind. I just was thinking of that. I was looking around my desk and it's in my truck from moving. I was like, "Where is my red card?"
All I have
because I'm looking for a way to defend him on this because
there's not
Milner is not the worst option you could have if you took the entire Premier League.
Milner shouldn't be on the field. We'll get to that.
I think his point, and maybe Jimmy, let me know if I'm misrepresenting you. His point is that Milner is reliable.
I think so.
It is you know what to expect out of Milner. However, on the team, you would probably go with Salah first. You probably get to about 4 or 5 people before you reach Milner, who's on the.
I'm trying to go.
If he's on the field, which I have to preface that because he's not on the field a lot.
So
I want Alisson to take it before him.
I'm trying to go through the Liverpool depth chart. It's like Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota.
I don't think Mane. No, I think Firmino's second.
I don't
then
care about
Jota.
That's fine. That's fine. But Mane's,
you're just naming. Okay.
Mane's ahead of Milner.
Yes.
I think I'm taking Thiago.
Henderson.
Henderson.
Was he on the field?
I might
take Robertson.
I don't know if I'm taking that.
Henderson is basically Milner, just younger. He's a reliable, do-it-all player in the midfield.
I think he's less of a Swiss Army knife than James Milner is. James Milner could literally play
you know
every
what?
position
I'll agree
on the
with
pitch.
that. Yeah.
But
I'll agree with that.
In terms of their
similar players,
in terms of their drive is exceeding their skill, and that's why they play. I agree with that sentiment. But yeah,
it's like if we have any NBA fans, it's like a Jimmy Butler situation where he's not the most skilled basketball player, but he wants it more than anybody. I mean, he's a very skilled player. He's a lot more skilled than I see you twisting your head.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's a beast.
Yeah,
he
is because he wants it more and he goes after everything.
Okay,
he's a bulldog.
But think about someone like Kobe. Like Kobe had that same mentality that Jimmy. Kobe had that mentality to like times 10.
Yes, but also had the skill.
Yeah,
so that's why he was that. Jimmy Butler could never be that. He doesn't have the skill.
Agree with you. I don't think Jimmy Butler could be that level. But
Henderson could never be Gerrard.
Agreed.
Yeah. He just doesn't have the skill. As hard as he works, he will never be that.
Agreed.
And then if Gerrard had the work rate of Henderson,
he might have been Ronaldo.
He might have been the best midfielder to ever play.
I mean, I think if you
and he's still in the conversation. Like,
I don't know. I think if you look at like work rates and you're comparing people, like I feel like Jimmy Butler was not a good NBA player to choose. I don't know who the right.
It absolutely was.
I don't know who the right NBA player is to choose, but I don't think it's Jimmy Butler.
Manu.
We're gonna get in the weeds here, guys. We're gonna get in the weeds here.
All right, fine. What does Will got to say?
Oh, well, hold on. He also actually had a legitimate.
Oh, he does have a second one.
His legitimate thought was also about James Milner and thought that he deserved a second yellow card against City for a tackle he had on Bernardo Silva, which is 100% true. He deserved a second yellow card for that. He should have been sent off. And he gave a shout out to fellow red carder Will and Juve for their victory in the Turin Derby this weekend. Juve got a 1-0 victory over Torino in the Turin Derby. I don't know the official name of that derby. I'm sure I knew it at some point, but Will fill us in the comments. Will's
that's kind of like Chelsea beating Brentford.
It's gonna happen.
I don't know. Be careful, Brad. It might not.
We're not Arsenal.
I mean, Brentford got another London derby victory.
It's two teams that happen to be in the same city. Is it really a derby?
Nah, Torino's been in Serie A for a long.
They have, but like
a long time.
Come on.
All right.
As much as I shit on Juve. Come on.
Yes, levels.
Like that's not equal.
I agree with you. Will had a comment about Sebastian Phil's Phil.
Yeah, getting himself tattooed on his calf.
He's got a self tattoo. So this is the guy who scored for Sheriff against Madrid to win in the Champions League, and that reminded him of another great Champions League moment when Andre Arshavin for Arsenal scored a goal against Barca and pulled up his shirt and revealed a picture of himself on his undershirt. And that inspired me to put on my Arshavin jersey. I know you guys can't see it, but there he is.
Great.
Wow.
Wonderful.
That's my guy. Yeah. It's probably backwards in the video because Discord recording is stupid.
It's opposite.
But anyway, that's all we have for comments. Make sure you guys get those comments to us because we love talking about it there. We like having lighthearted moments like this, so keep them rolling in, and we appreciate it. All right, let's talk about the Premier League. We're going to quickly look at the league table.
Quickly, we can leave it there for a little bit.
Sure, let's leave it there for a little bit. All right, so in a first position through 7 games is Chelsea Football Club. They are on 16 points. So, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Chelsea were supposed to be on 16 points after 6 matches played, right?
Yeah, I think it's 7 now, so that's not 6.
Brad, I need you to walk away from the computer right now, go downstairs, get yourself a pickle, because you need to be eating a pickle, homie.
Is that what we're doing?
I think that's what we agreed to. And it's the international break, so you might as well go get that pickle. But
just see if we got one. I don't think I have any.
Does a non-pickle eater just have pickles hanging around?
I don't think so, because Sarah doesn't have pickles. We haven't had burgers in a while.
Oh.
I think maybe we should make this a thing, and we will get him a good pickle, not just a grocery store run-of-the-mill pickle.
There is no such thing as a good pickle.
My wife's gonna fight you because those are her favorite pickles. Anyway, all right.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
Second place in the league table is Liverpool on 15 points. City's in third on 14 points. United is in fourth. Everton in fifth. Brighton and Hove in sixth. Brentford's up to seventh. Tottenham's up to eighth out of the bottom half of the table.
Hanging in.
Rounding out the top half is West Ham and Aston Villa. Now, if we look at the second half, the bottom half of the table. In 11th is Arsenal on 10 points. Wolves come in at 12th. Then followed by Leicester, Crystal Palace, Watford, Watford was the team that fired their manager, just so you all know, in 15th position, if you didn't already know. And then 16th position, Leeds, 17th, Southampton, and in the relegation zone, 18th, 19th, 20 is Burnley, Newcastle, and Norwich City. And guys, Norwich City got a point. They got a point. Look at them go.
Let's go.
Look at them go. So, Brad, I've got the table pulled up for all of the lovely people on YouTube who are watching us. If you're not watching us anymore, make sure you leave that video playing so we can trick Google, Operation Trick Google. But, Brad, how do you feel?
I feel fantastic.
Yeah.
7 games, and we're at the top. going into another break, that's a pretty good feeling. I don't see how I could be upset.
Yeah.
Besides, I have to eat a pickle, but
yeah. I mean, it's pretty tight.
Super tight.
But I mean, like we've only played 7 games, so.
And also, our next few matches, we shouldn't leave the top position.
Who do you guys have?
That was my point with the bet. Is you got 4 of your 5 or 6 hard games out in the first 6 games of the season. That's really why you shouldn't have had 16 points. After that, you are going to. Well, yeah, I said you would just not have 16 points. That means you won 5 and drew 1. You were going to lose or draw 2. You were going to draw 2 or lose 1.
Yeah,
you had Tottenham. You had Tottenham, Arsenal, City, Liverpool.
Yeah.
In your first, so the only one left you have really that's incredibly difficult, and air quotes is United.
Yeah.
Other than that, you are cruising till Boxing Day.
Brad, who's your next 3 games against in the league?
Brentford, Norwich, Newcastle.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
It's at Brentford though, so that's the one. Maybe, but I think we crushed them, honestly.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna crush Brentford too.
Yeah.
But we were ravaged. We had COVID injuries and people not back from the Olympics yet, so I'm going to use that as an excuse.
I also thought Arsenal would be in the top 10 after 7 weeks. Top half of the table.
I don't care about the table until 10 weeks in, so.
We only got 3 more weeks for them to make a move. We run out of time here.
We're in 11th. We are 1 point away from 9th, 2 points away from 8th or 7th. Like, we're not that far off. We're 6 points off of the title. Like, so 6 points off first. Arsenal are firmly at this point firmly in top 4 contention.
Okay.
I still think we're in title. I still think we're in title contention, honestly, because you guys are all going to be bogged down with European football in February, and Arsenal are not. So, but yeah, that's what the league table looks like right now. That's what it will look like when we come back again next week, because international break. But yeah, let's round out what happened in the EPL match week 7. So starting off the week, United and Everton played to a 1-1 draw. Burnley and Norwich 0-0 draw. That was Norwich's first point. Chelsea beat Southampton 3-1. Leeds beat Watford 1-0. Wolves beat Newcastle 2-1. Brighton and Arsenal played to a 0-0 draw. Brighton probably should have won if you watched the match. I lost my place. Palace and Leicester played to a 2-2 draw. Spurs beat Villa 2-1. West Ham lost to Brentford they were hosting at the West Ham Stadium. 1-2, so Brentford won 2-1, and then Liverpool and City played a very, very exciting 2-2 draw at Anfield. So anything, we can start wherever you guys want. I don't care.
Well, we got an Everton homeboy, Townsend with the Ronaldo celebration after he got the goal.
That was definitely
respect, but
interesting.
yeah.
Well, that's an interesting. What I was saying, the way I previewed this last week was that it was experienced manager, not as good squad, versus inexperienced manager, better squad. And so Ole made some interesting choices, left Ronaldo on the bench coming into this match.
Sancho
was on the bench, yeah. So a lot of his big guns were on the bench to start the match.
Do you think he thought he had it in the bag with the squad he put on the field, and he could rest them? Do you think that's what he was doing?
I don't know what he thought personally.
I don't know what he thinks on any given week.
Which is interesting going into an international break to rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Rest your big stars because, like, I mean, I guess you're still like managing their load because you know that Portugal is going to play Ronaldo 2 games. You know that
absolutely.
Yeah. So you know that's going to happen. So maybe you're
all 3 of the Sancho. Well, Sancho's probably going to play for England. Pogba's probably going to play for France. Yeah, you're right.
Now that Sancho plays for a Big 6 club, he's going to get into the English squad because
he was on the
Well,
Oh,
It said-
okay. I see what you're saying.
didn't
Yeah,
start-
now he can actually play now.
exactly. He didn't start
Because
playing.
he's on United.
He didn't
Yeah.
start playing in the Euros until after the United deal was announced. So
It must have been announced in the 117th minute of the Euro final, I guess.
Southgate.
I'm not gonna. Gareth Southgate, if you're listening to this, I will not let you live that down for putting a kid on and with 3 minutes to go in extra time, overtime, extra time, and gave him a penalty kick.
I guess he thinks Bruno gets it done, but Everton's recruitment has been awesome. Damian Gray, they spent $2 million on, and then they got Townsend for free. That's
free transfer.
wow.
they got rid of James Rodriguez as well. So like that's a
Townsend,
a win-win.
Townsend was not bad for us. I like it. Maybe it ended poorly with the manager situation. I forget how that ended, but he was like, I didn't mind him as a player for Tottenham.
How long ago was he playing for? I know
Been
he
about
I know he
4 or
started
5
Tottenham,
years.
but
I
No,
felt like
it's
it was
about
years
4 or 5
ago.
years.
it feels like it was
Yeah.
like 10 years ago.
Nah, like 4 or 5 years.
He
Nah,
might,
I know him
it's
as a
definitely
Christian.
not 10.
he might have been playing for Tottenham like 10 years ago. That's a possibility.
Oh, could have been. Yeah. No, it was about. He left us about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That's probably right. It just feels like forever.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a really good result for Everton, just on the
Absolutely.
Great result for Everton.
on the balance of play.
away at Trafford. Yeah, absolutely.
A
So-
draw at Old Trafford, I think, is a good result for
I
Everton.
think the only note we can say on the second game, Burnley Norwich, is thank God none of us watched that.
So I think
Norwich Burnley.
Wait, you
0-0
were
draw.
James was supposed to watch that.
Yeah.
James said he was going to
Did
watch
you?
it. Did you lie? Did you lie to our Red Card Radio listeners?
my fellow
I did.
my fellow red carders, I have something I need to tell you guys.
Confession time.
I said that I was going to watch Burnley and Norwich so that I could have opinions for you guys.
Did you fall asleep in the first 3 minutes? Because I would have.
Guys, I did not watch Burnley and Norwich. I took my son to his soccer class instead. And honestly,
okay. All right. Here we go with the. We're
not-
going to bring family into this, so nobody can. Nobody can judge you on that one.
I'm not going to apologize because, yeah, I did say I was going to watch it. I didn't watch it. I meant to watch it on replay on Peacock, but it just
Out
didn't
of
happen.
all of these results that happened between Saturday and Sunday, the most unsurprising result is James not watching that match.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So Chelsea Southampton match. Honestly, unsurprising. Chelsea gets a 3-1 victory at the Bridge.
I don't know. I know Brad's got a couple of notes about that, but I don't know there's a lot to talk about. That Southampton had a red card. Chelsea wins a game they're supposed to. They're supposed to win 3-1.
We got really big news here.
Oh,
Timo scores a tap in. Timo
Whoa.
scores a tap in.
He didn't miss?
He didn't miss.
he wasn't offside?
It wasn't offside.
Wow.
Hold on. And there also wasn't a penalty 5 minutes before.
Since we don't have sounders, I'll do it for us.
Yeah, Timo.
He had another one pulled out of the net too for the 16th time. He's had a goal pulled out of the net because of a penalty that happened 5 minutes before.
Was it 5 minutes?
If
Was
5
it-
That's
minutes
probably
seems
an
like-
extent. It's probably
Okay,
an
so like
exaggeration,
30
but
seconds or something.
No,
like
it
that.
was a lot longer than that because the buildup was a lot longer.
Yeah, but
to that goal.
it was probably like a foul, and then Chelsea got the ball, and then they built up for like a
Yeah.
minute or a minute and a half.
Well,
and then
if you play on, well, hold on now. I think I'm with Brad here. Like if you
Foul wasn't called when it happened. When
if the
replay
ref
says,
decides to play on, yeah,
no. Caesar definitely fouls him,
okay.
but there was no call on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea takes the ball up. Timo's got like a gorgeous header in the back of the net. They're going to half field, and they're like, wait. And you just knew. Like, there's something here. There's no way he's offsides. But you just knew there had to be something silly. And I'm like, I watched it because I didn't know when the penalty happened. And like, Lukaku kind of bodies somebody. So I'm like, okay, maybe they're calling that as the foul.
Well,
And then I see it's when Southampton had the ball on the other side of the field.
I mean, but if there's a foul, so this is kind of what I was talking about in the Arsenal-Tottenham match, is that I thought that Xhaka fouled Højbjerg leading into the second Arsenal goal. Now, Arsenal scored 20 seconds after that, and so it was it immediately preceded the goal. But
okay.
what Brad, you're saying is that there was a foul, and then Chelsea had a quite lengthy build-up and then scored.
Correct.
So Caesar fouled someone on Southampton. Chelsea then possessed the ball, and then possessed the ball until they scored a very long time later.
Correct. And it definitely was a foul. I'm not saying VAR didn't do its job, but yes.
Unless
that's what VAR I have two questions. I had two questions just because I didn't watch this particular part of the game.
Yeah.
One is comedic relief. Are you saying Caesar because you can't pronounce Azpilicueta?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, she was my Dave.
Right. And two, did the foul directly help Chelsea score that goal and get the breakaway?
We got the ball back. It wasn't a breakaway. We got the ball back. It wasn't a breakaway. That's the thing. We repossessed the ball from the.
I didn't happen to see that part of the game, so
yes,
that was.
Well, but that's the thing.
And it's Azpilicueta, by the way.
Yeah,
it's Dave.
That's what VAR is for. If you foul, and I understand the hard part here is that it took so long. Is that it was a very long time in between. The foul and the goal, and so it feels bad. But honestly, that's what VAR is there for.
It actually made. Well, I guess we'll talk about it in a second. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second, I reckon. But it made me think of there was a foul on Nomile in the Villa Spurs game where Target just they kind of already called the foul. But he kicked the ball. Skip just runs up and kicks the ball towards the goal, and this is near midfield. He's just the keeper's out and thinking he's going to get it, and Martinez blocked it. But if it would have went in, I wondered if they would have let that played on because the whistle had not blown yet when he kicked the ball. It blew right as almost at impact or right after. So, but that's what that makes me think of a foul and then play on, but are we playing on or is this coming back or how do we do this?
Well, no, there was no stoppage. There was no penalty called. So there was no nothing there was no whistle in the ref's mouth and then he just choked it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The rest of your players, there's no whistle that you guys are playing on. That's what Skip was doing. There's no whistle. Nomile's on the ground with the guy that tackled him, whoever pulled him down, and they're wrestling around doing whatever soccer stuff.
Even Southampton were still playing, though. I see what you're saying. But it wasn't everybody just stopped.
Everybody plays on. Everybody's playing on, except the keeper. Well, Martinez was Arsenal. Martinez was on his game. He was there. He was like, no.
Yeah, he probably did a little dance afterwards too.
He did. He did. I think there was a finger wag situation, if I remember the highlight right.
And in a couple of years, Livermento's coming home. That's the other comment that I have. We put that buyback clause in perfectly. He's been playing for Livermento, the right back for Southampton.
Oh, yeah.
Was a Chelsea is a Chelsea Academy star.
But he wasn't able to play. Oh wait, did you guys sell him with a buyback clause?
So we sold him with a buyback clause.
Okay, so he can.
It's not a loan. Yeah, it's a sell with a buyback clause.
That's so stupid.
It's 25 mil or 40 mil. Nobody really knows the number, but either way, I think it's gonna be awesome.
I thought I read it was 50 mil.
The only two numbers that most people have said is 25 or 40.
Okay, well then 50 mil is wrong. Yeah.
Either way,
no one here watched Wolves Newcastle. Let's be honest. Brad.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I was thinking if I did or not.
I of course watched Brighton and Arsenal. A very, very beautiful day on the south coast of London. It was super windy and raining. It was a monsoon, I think. And I commented as I was watching the game, Arsenal played it out of the back a lot. So Ramsdale took a lot of long, goal kicks, and he would just kick the ball into the sky, and you're okay, this is gonna go beyond the midfield point, and it just dies, it's going, and the ball just dies because it hits the wind and just falls in the Arsenal half. It was one of those matches where it was just super windy, super terrible conditions, and like I said, Arsenal probably got out. They probably stole a point in this match because we didn't create. We created almost nothing. We didn't look super good. We did have. I might argue that we had the best single opportunity to score when Emile Smith-Rowe was in on goal with Saka square, and Smith-Rowe shot on goal instead of passing. That might have been the best single instance of a goal-scoring opportunity. But Aaron Ramsdale had a phenomenal save in like the 89th minute, or like super late in the game, to deny Neil Maupay an opportunity to put the ball in the net. It's like just diving over the shoulder, just like palm to get the ball away. Aaron Ramsdale is starting to look really confident as the Arsenal number one. And with Bern Leno's is a kind of nebulous situation with his contract, only having 18 months left, and there's no real indication that he's going to extend. I think he really wants to be playing in European football. I think that it's a really solid choice by Arteta and crew to get Ramsdale in there and get him playing time, because he's playing really well.
But I think that was an awesome choice there to start Ramsdale, because I think that's what started you guys' turnaround. He's cares.
It's twofold.
And so that the solidarity in the back is definitely more.
So it's
and Brighton 100% deserve to win this game.
I think it's twofold. Arsenal's turnaround is that we have our back four is solidified now. We were waiting for Gabriel to come back to pair with Ben White, and then Ben White got COVID, I feel like, if I'm not mistaken. Ben White was out for a couple games. I don't remember why, but like once
body slammed.
I can't remember why he was out, but Ben White back in the game with Gabriel. That was always our first choice center back pairing, and then of course Kieran Tierney is always on the left because he's a beast. And then the question is who's playing right back for Arsenal. And Tomiyasu Takahiro has been really, really good. He didn't play very well.
Really good.
He didn't play well against Brighton. This was the first match where he looked out of sorts for me. But I wonder if that was because like this might have been like the first match that he played in such horrendous English conditions. Like it was just such a crappy day.
It was so bad. Like, oh my, that looked like a fun game to play in though. That looks like a game I want to play in though.
Yeah, I mean, like,
be honest, how much rain? Let's go.
Like playing football in the rain is fun. Playing football in the like torrential downpour and the wind, not fun. But yeah, so like I would have preferred to win that game. Clearly, I would have liked Arsenal to get 3 points away to Brighton. But I guess I can be content with a point. Not losing, I think, was more important. Palace and Leicester 2-2 draw. I think this is an interesting result in when you think about, and I'm going to frame this in the thought process about what Palace and what Leicester were last year. So Leicester were super pragmatic. They won games when they needed to. They got points away from home, and they were fighting for the top four for the entire season. And this year it just doesn't. Something seems off with Leicester. They're dropping points where you would have traditionally thought they would be winning points, and they just look a little bit out of sorts. Whereas Palace last year, they looked content to avoid relegation. Like it seemed like Palace, like they're like, we're gonna get to 40 points and chill. We're chilling. I don't know if it's just Roy Hodgson versus Patrick Vieira, but Patrick Vieira has them playing super well, and they're getting points, getting points against good teams. So I think that's an interesting result, the 2-2 draw. That was just my one takeaway from that match.
Crystal Palace dominated that game. Leicester's lucky for the draw. They had two mistakes, which like they're going to happen. It's a young team in Crystal Palace. They had two big mistakes that Leicester were able to counter. That's Leicester's game plan. We're going to counter you to death. We're going to play great defense. We're going to counter you to death. Crystal Palace really did. Like, I would say Crystal Palace dominated Leicester harder than Brighton dominated Arsenal.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about Crystal Palace is they've been in every game that they've played this year. They've looked super strong at all the games they've played. They were super strong against Liverpool away. They crushed Tottenham.
They did. They destroyed Tottenham.
And
can we say that again?
And so like Arsenal played Crystal Palace at the weekend. That's going to be a tough game for Arsenal. I'm hoping that Patrick Vieira does a solid for Arsenal. But he's
no
not.
mercy.
He's not going to. No, it's gonna. Because I feel like Patrick Vieira feels the type of way that he wasn't in the Arsenal job contention when Emery got fired.
It actually makes me think of, and I can't remember if I'm pretty sure we had this conversation on pod or off, but Vieira falls into that conversation of I need to pay more attention to Newcastle or to Palace football more than I have.
Mm-hmm.
To see, because there's not a lot of really great players that translate to great managers. There's not a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great players that end up managers, but they aren't very good.
Yeah.
Like, and like I'm excluding people like Zidane, who like when you get handed the squad that he got handed at Madrid, like okay, like that's not really fair.
Yeah.
Like I probably could have won a Champions League with that squad.
It's like the Steve Kerr thing, inheriting the
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. And even to that level, Steve Kerr wasn't that great of a player. He was a good player.
True. Yeah.
Wasn't a great player, but like Patrick Vieira was a top 3-5 midfielder almost his entire career.
Yeah.
And now he's transforming Palace into something that's formidable. This is something to watch. I think this is something that I'm earmarking to make sure I pay more attention to.
I mean, Vieira's had coaching jobs in the past. Like this isn't his
Sure.
first manager. He coached
Of course. No.
NYFC.
Yep.
Not very successfully, if I'm not mistaken. I think he
terribly.
also managed.
Well, if he's going to learn, you might as well learn in the MLS.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was Monaco or someone
It was
else.
some
It was
like
the first
Monaco.
team.
Rennes.
It was Monaco because that's where
Okay.
it was Monaco because that's where Cesc went. Cesc went to go. I think Cesc went there to play under him. I think. Unless I'm wrong.
Well, Henry
okay.
managed.
Oh, it was Henry. You're right.
Monaco
Okay.
for a while.
You're right.
Yeah,
I'm not sure who was where.
For some reason, Rennes is sticking out.
You might be right.
For Vieira,
But it makes
it's one of those mid to low tier.
I mean,
Liga on.
it makes sense that Vieira went to a French team to manage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being French.
Nice. You're close. Nice.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. It was so. But yeah, now he's got his break in the Premier League, and I think he's
doing great so far.
Well for himself.
And I honestly need to pay more attention to it.
Yeah. So, Spurs Villa 2-1. We kind of talked a little bit about it. How you feeling, Sean? Got back on track? Didn't concede 3 goals. How did you guys play in this match? Because I didn't get a chance to watch it. Were you guys super defensive again?
Me and Brad feel differently about it.
We do.
I feel like we were in control the entire match.
I don't. I disagree.
I like the majority of the chances were Tottenham's. Yet were Villa dangerous? Absolutely. It scored a goal. They almost scored a couple more.
I don't.
Like, but Tottenham, like the entire first third of the game, the entire first 30 minutes was all Tottenham.
I feel like the biggest difference between the two teams was Son. Son was the reason why Tottenham won. This wasn't a 1-0
that is
win
the only
for
thing we
Aston
agree
Villa.
on is in watching that game, I just realized in real time this is Heung-min Son's team. This is not
Son-
Harry Kane's team.
Yeah,
This
Son
is Son's
is
team.
more. I think Son will be more important to Tottenham's season than
Yeah.
Salah will be for Liverpool's.
Ooh.
Yes. I
Interesting.
actually agree.
100% agree. And
I agree.
Dembele should never see the field
This is-
as a sub.
This is not Harry Kane's team anymore.
No,
This is Son's team.
the 200 million would have been much better. But Ndombele shouldn't see the field, shouldn't start a game. He can be a sub. He can't run for more than 35 minutes at all. Oh my god,
that was going to be my next. Yeah, it was bad. He needs to be a sub. My next point was going to be that starting 11, other than Ndombele, should be our starting 11.
Did
I
Brian
don't think-
Gill start?
No,
The Ndombele for Gill would be the only thing that I would swap out. He came on for Ndombele.
Dele, I don't think fills that hole either. I don't think Gil fills that spot, but I don't think Dele
Yes,
fills that
yes,
spot
he
either.
does. Because Son played centrally, Ndombele was on the left and Lucas was on the right. Or then Lucas was in the middle and Son was on the right. I can't remember specifically.
Dumbele was on the right, and I think Dumbele and Lucas were switching because Son stayed on the left.
Dumbele normally plays on the left. I'm pretty sure I had that right.
Was he
where
playing
Dumbele was on the left?
Was he playing in the front three though?
He's playing it.
No,
they did a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, 4-2-3-1.
So he was the 10 in this.
And they had Højbjerg and Skip behind
Yeah.
a 3-man, and then Kane up top.
Yeah.
I think that should be our lineup.
14.
With a 4-man back. And it was
and-
Romero and Dyer. And they played okay. Romero shaking some rust. And you know how I feel about Dyer. With Reguilon on the left and Emerson Royal on the right. I like Royal a lot.
So here's why I think we differ is that you guys have this was the game where you guys had so many blocked shots. If those shots aren't blocked, they're going past Hugo. Hugo also needs to be replaced.
If a frog had a glass ass, he'd only jump once. Like what do you mean if? Like that's called defense.
We've seen what happens when Tottenham doesn't get the blocks. Y'all get murdered, destroyed. Y'all didn't have many blocks against Crystal Palace. Y'all had 0 blocks against Chelsea. Y'all had 0 blocks against Arsenal.
You're basically saying we've seen what happens when batters don't swing.
No, what I'm saying
strikeouts happen. What do you mean?
Those 50-50 chances where somebody puts the foot in the right spot to block the shot happened more for Tottenham this time than they didn't.
I think what Brad is trying to say is that it's a dangerous thing to rely on. Is that but I also
last second foot.
But I also feel like it shows good defensive shape if your defenders are in a position to be blocking the shot, because it's kind of what we've been talking about for a couple weeks now. Is that like going back to Sean's boy Giorgio Chiellini, his quote about when a player goes to shoot, the defender is trying to block half the goal, and the goalie is trying to block the other half of the goal. Like that's just what the defender is supposed to be doing if they're defending properly. And so if you, I think a lot of block shots indicates that you have good defensive shape because your defenders are in the right positions. They didn't. Tottenham had no defensive shape against Arsenal for the first 25 minutes, and that's why they got scored on 3 times.
And their shape should be good. They've been drilled for
but Eric Dyer's
2+ years.
Eric Dyer's a caveman.
They've been drilled for 2+ years on defensive shape.
I think.
I get what you're saying, Brad.
It's like a year and a half, but it was a different style. This is a different style than what Nuno plays.
Yeah, I still
no, it's not. Nuno plays almost exactly like Jose.
Any time a comment starts with, "I like the way we played. We had good setup." Romero and Eric Dyer, it's just like your credibility is gone when you have to say that Eric Dyer.
Yes.
Who are your other center backs?
Rodon,
Do you guys have
Rodon
Sanchez?
and Davinson Sanchez. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You guys desperately need center backs.
It would be if I had to replace one of them, it would be Rodon and
For
Romero.
Dyer.
Yes,
No,
for Dyer.
Okay, you'd be the R&R would be your center back pairing.
Yes, that would be our pairing.
That still to me, I haven't seen enough of Romero play to inspire.
He started out rusty. Yeah, he passed out of the back and gave it up early. Like it was a thread pass where he thought he was being slick.
Yeah,
and then it led to a counter which had to be blocked. Yeah. to Brad's point, but. Yeah.
And on the other side of the ball, whoever Grealish's barber was must have started cutting Matty Cash's hair, because homie is the truth. Homie gets up the field very well for that wingback spot. Like he's always in the middle of whatever Aston Villa is doing. He's got the same hairstyle as Grealish.
Oh, so that was a legit thing that you knew.
It was a legit thing.
Reddit told you about this?
No, I watched the game, bro.
Twitter?
No, I watched the game.
So do you actually know if he has the same barber? Or is that...
I don't know. No, that was
okay.
Rhetorical.
But
it'd be dope if he does.
I thought the barber comment was serious.
Guys, can we find out if Matty Cash and Grealish have the same barber? I need some people in England. We have some listeners.
We need to send someone to London to check out this Aston Villa situation. Sean, right? London? London's where we're going?
London?
London?
I think it's Birmingham.
London?
London?
Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about Liverpool City. Liverpool were lucky, I think, to not have 10 men, to still have 11 men on the pitch in this game. Mo Salah also scored a goal that was amazing. Like it was a beautiful individual effort, that goal that he scored. This was a good game to watch. I watched
second half was.
Yeah, I watched the second half. I missed the first half, but I turned it on for the second half after I got home from church. I mean, like I legitimately think Liverpool are very lucky, fortunate for James Milner to have stayed on the pitch, and
might have been better if he was off of it.
Better for who?
For Liverpool.
I mean, it would have been the same situation. Well,
essentially
inverse, because I guess Chelsea got the red card. I don't know.
Foden
played really well.
Oh my gosh, he ate Milner. Like, Milner should not have been on the field for that. Like, why would you set him up against Foden like that?
Because
like this game should have. Liverpool are lucky to have a draw. Foden should have Foden should have had another 2 goals.
Liverpool don't have depth. This is the same issue they had last year. If they're missing players, they're missing players, and like James Milner can't play.
Milner and Henderson are playing whatever position they don't have.
Yeah, it's criminal. It's criminal that Liverpool that Jurgen Klopp has been so underappreciated and undersupported by Liverpool FC. I don't mind personally as an Arsenal fan, but it's criminal because they have no depth.
Gosh, that was bad to watch, and that first half was all City just pressing machines, just shutting down everything. They definitely deserve to be up the half, but the second half is where things just opened up, and that was awesome to watch.
Yeah, that Salah goal,
and the assist too.
Yeah,
he assisted Mane too.
Salah's a beast. I mean, like, there's nothing you can say about it. Like, dude is a beast. I would take him at Arsenal. I would ask if you would take him at Chelsea, Brad, but you guys already had him once, and
he can come back.
All right, so that's kind of our. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about match week 7 before we tie it up with the Mo Salah as a beast? Is that a good place to end?
I think that's where we got to end it.
Yeah,
that was my top note from the week.
All right, so we're gonna first go. So this was two news things from the Premier League. So it looks like we'll start. Watford sacked their manager, and it looks like Claudio Ranieri is coming back to manage Watford on a 2-year deal. Maybe it's like an 18-month deal. I'm not really sure how long it is, but it probably takes us through the end of this season and next season. He has been in Italy. I forget which squad he had in Italy last year. I don't remember.
Something tells
Will fill us in.
Yeah, something is drawing me to Cagliari. Does that sound right?
I don't think so.
You're wrong, but I'll let Will fill you guys in.
I assumed you had Googled it, Brad.
I was. No, but you said Will, so we'll let Will's comments stand.
Okay. I just something in my head said Cagliari.
All right, if we're taking guesses then. Who did he coach last year? Sampdoria? I don't know.
Dang. Wow.
Got it.
James wins trivia. We haven't brought trivia back in so long. There you go.
Owned.
Maybe we should bring that back next week.
Owned.
I knew it was a high to like a mid to like high mid table team. And then if I pull up the Serie A, it's probably Cagliari's probably not even in Serie A anymore.
Yeah, did they get relegated? Who knows?
I don't know.
So Claudio coming back to the Premier League. He won it famously with Leicester City. He almost won it with Chelsea, but they sacked him. So Yeah, and then the other big news story coming out, I think just today, is that it looks like Mike Ashley is finally set to sell Newcastle United to a investment group coming out of Saudi Arabia. Apparently, so this is a deal that has been kind of off and on again for like the last 18 months or so. It fell apart last year because there was concern in the Premier League that it was that the crown. In Saudi Arabia, the royal family in Saudi Arabia would essentially be owning a Premier League team, and there was some pushback for that. But apparently, this Saudi investment group has given the Premier League assurances that the royal family is not involved, and that it won't be owned by the state of Saudi Arabia. Essentially,
that and apparently they had pirating. Concerns over beIN Sports for the money, but and that's no longer a concern, which means they're spending buku bucks on this.
Yeah.
To put it this way, about how much money Newcastle United is about to have, like the net worth of the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, is about the owner of Manchester City could spend his total money 17 and a half times, 13 and a half times, and still have money left over, still be in the $1 billion, compared to the $320 billion that is now available for Newcastle United.
What you're saying is that you could take Sheikh Mansour's money, multiply it 17 times,
13 times,
and still not have as much money as the Saudis have.
Correct.
Okay, you said that really poorly.
Yes, that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I do.
But of course, with financial fair play and all those things, what it means is that like they won't be able to just spend like all. Well, hold on, John. What it means is they won't just be able to spend $300 billion on players. But what they can do is they can just like build a new St. James's Park. Like what we'll see Newcastle do is build a really nice new stadium, build new training facilities, and then it seems like. Maybe in like 5 to 10 years, Newcastle could be a big thing.
It depends on how much how much financial fair play really is a thing. Because I feel like City has shown that financial fair play ain't really what it's.
City,
really
PSG,
what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Madrid. I mean, we'll see.
Financial fair play doesn't matter.
What I think will be interesting though is like one of the problems that Newcastle has is that it's a little thing called being in Newcastle.
Who wants to be in Northern England for 9 months of the year?
When you get paid, $300,000 a week,
you're gonna have
who cares where I'm at?
You're going to have to pay players a whole lot of money, like especially South American players. Like there are a bunch of South American players that don't do well in London, and like London is a super cosmopolitan city. It's fairly south in England, so it's probably one of the warmer cities compared to like Manchester or Newcastle, Liverpool. So like, I mean, like not significantly, but it's probably still nicer in terms of like the climate. But like I don't know. Newcastle's a hard sell for a lot of South American players, I think. So it's going to be interesting how they recruit and if they're able to draw players. Because like,
is Aston Villa in Newcastle or? That's a running joke. It's a running joke. But Sean doesn't actually know where Aston Villa is.
But like the value proposition of Newcastle, I think, is valuable because like they're the only team in Newcastle. Like they're the only big team in Newcastle. So like that's good. So
they're a highly supported team.
Yeah, like Newcastleites, Newcastlanders,
Newcastlonians.
Yeah, Newcastlonians love Newcastle.
Joel, can you correct these guys in the comments, please, about what do we call you?
Newcastlonians?
I don't know.
Newcastlans.
I don't know either.
Yeah, no, I don't know what. They all sound right. I don't know which one to say. They all sound right.
We're gonna randomly interchange them because we don't know.
That's fine.
But yeah, that's the big story coming out. That should be finalized, I would imagine, over the next couple months. And Newcastle fans around the world rejoice because Mike Ashley, the curmudgeon, is gone. Now the big thing that sparked a conversation on Twitter this week, it might have been today where I saw it. I don't know, but somebody was asking, would you rather have in your team Jamie Vardy or Harry Kane?
in the team or their careers?
Let me see if I can find the tweet real quick.
I think we could take it either way.
Okay.
Yeah, but like on the court, on their careers, I think is kind of like.
I think I would take the same answer both ways.
Would you rather have Harry Kane's career or Jamie Vardy's career? That was the question on Twitter.
What do you think, Sean?
So would I rather have 2 golden boots or a redemption story and a championship?
And
That's
I think a
basically what
golden
you're
boot.
Yeah, he did win a golden boot. So 1 golden boot, a championship, and a redemption story versus 2 golden boots and a
FA Cup.
Champions League final appearance.
Leicester also have an FA Cup. Vardy also has an FA Cup.
So two trophies, 1 golden boot, redemption story against 2 golden boots and a Champions League final appearance. I'm taking Vardy.
That's the only.
Yeah, that's the correct answer.
The only answer.
Yeah, of course, being a Tottenham fan, it made me think. But yeah, the redemption story of he was kind of a screw up. He was kind of a drunk. He was in the 7th tier. Works his way up to the championship. They get promoted. He's with them. A couple years later, they're battling for the championship and then win it.
Yep.
And he's the main catalyst. Like, yeah, that's an awesome story. And is Harry Kane's story good? Yeah, absolutely. He's an academy player.
It's a Tottenham story, not an English story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wins a couple golden boots. He's one of the best strikers in England history. Well, he's getting that way. One of the best strikers in England history. Just hasn't won anything.
Never won a trophy.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this the second way. Well, first, James, if you want to answer, because I think Vardy's the answer.
Right now is my answer. Right now is the same answer. It's Vardy.
Okay, Brad. What was your other way? How are you gonna?
That was my question.
Who would I rather have today?
Yeah, and that was my question. And I think, Sean, you're right, especially the way Tottenham are playing right now. The team is not built for Harry Kane to play. Like, this is a defensive team wanting to throw those long balls up, and Vardy is the best at that. That is what he does. He counters.
I think you guys have this wrong. If I'm taking a player right now between Vardy and Kane, just on paper, I'm taking Kane.
On paper, sure.
Because Jamie Vardy is 34.
Okay,
he's old. Harry Kane's what, 27, 28?
No, he's about 30, 29, 30.
We do this every single time. He's like 28.
We don't know how old Harry Kane is.
Well, he moves like he's 37.
He's 28.
So. I knew he was.
Yeah,
he moves like he's 37.
Okay. But that's
6
because
years
Sean,
younger. He's 6 years younger.
That's also because your team's not in contention for the title.
So
of course you would take Harry Kane over him.
Okay. No.
1 year situation. At the beginning of the year, would you have taken Vardy or Kane? At the beginning of this year, at the beginning of this season, you get the choice of either one on Arsenal. Which one do you pick for free?
I hate Jamie Vardy. I just don't like the guy.
Well, that also is probably leading into your
redemption story, James. You don't like a feel good story? What do you mean?
I don't like his face. He's such.
It's a very punchable face.
Yeah, and then when he is
smirks.
Oh,
it's like a smirk. It's like a smirk that he does. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I want to throw a stadium chair at him.
Didn't he also turn down?
He turned
Arsenal.
Yeah, he did turn down Arsenal.
Okay.
From Leicester, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. Wenger tried to sign him. It's unclear whether or not Leicester would have taken that deal or not. But Mahrez also turned down Arsenal in and around the same time. Who am I taking this season? Well, I don't. Who fits in better for Arsenal's style? I'm still taking Kane. I still take Kane. Yeah, if I'm thinking about the way that Arsenal play football,
in your style, it probably is Kane.
I think both of us say Kane for our teams.
Because the thing about Arsenal is Arsenal like to have the ability to hit you on the break, but we also throw in a lot of crosses, and we don't have any center forwards who are equipped to deal with crosses. We haven't had a center forward who's good at heading balls since we sold Giroud. Yeah, it's been that long, and so that's not Opa's game. That's not Lacazette's game. So yeah, I'm taking Kane because Kane's good in the air. I'm still taking Kane, and he's younger. And actually, what I would do is I would take Kane in August, and then in January I would sell him to City or Chelsea, whoever needs him more, and I would take the 150 million.
So does City come back? I mean, we don't have any content for next week. Does City come back in January?
I wonder, because like if it's close between Chelsea and City, and like both of them could like Chelsea's clearly not trying to sign another center forward. But
no, we're definitely not.
If City is, like maybe a few points behind Chelsea in the title, like I could see them going in for Kane again, especially if Tottenham are not contending. But the problem is that like, what happens if Kane is not scoring? Is continuing to not score goals? Like will like the bid won't be 125 again. It might be 85, and that's not going to convince Levy to sell. Or
no.
Daniel Levy.
Whatever his name is. He needs to leave the club, I think.
Yeah, he needs to be leaving.
And on that note...
Oh, wait. Is today the day? No, it's not yet. Never mind.
Is today the day for
Never
what?
mind. Today is not the day that it's been
5,000.
14 years yet.
All
but
right.
It will happen on one of our recording days, and I'm gonna mark it on my calendar.
You're probably going to miss it, because next week it's going to be the North London hour. Because I think you're on vacation next week, right, Brad?
Yeah, but we have about 140 days until this happens.
Yeah. So that's all we got for you guys tonight. If you're still listening, we really appreciate it if you could, of course, hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell if you're on YouTube. That really helps us out. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you guys think. If you'd rather have Harry Kane or Jamie Vardy, tell us what you think about the Saudi Arabian, investment takeover of Newcastle. Tell us all about Sampdoria and how you feel about Sampdoria.
Or Cagliari. Actually, I realized before we get out, I realized in my head. By the way, Cagliari is still in the Serie A. Barely.
What position?
In my head, they're in 20th. In my head, the logo was Genoa. Yeah, Genoa. Sorry.
What position are they in?
The same, basically, as Sampdoria. Okay.
All right. But as always, you can reach out to us on Twitter. We got at KSBradG. Send all your Chelsea love and or hate that way. Down below us.
The table.
At Whiteheart_Sean. And I am always at James Tiffany. And then we collectively are at Red Card Radio. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. And next week, we think we're going to talk about our favorite kits. Favorite jerseys in the Premier League. I guess you have to come back. Tune in next week to find out what we're thinking. And we will see you guys next time. Good night.